What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. We asked for it, and there seemed to be some traction. So we know that Noah Fant was cut by Seattle last week, and immediately Dolphin fans were like, "Hey, he's kind of like a John Smith type. We should make a move." I said we should make a move. We don't have any money. So what the Dolphins do? They restructure Minka Fitzpatrick's deal, opening it up some money. And guess what we saw today? By the time you see this, it might be a day later, but that's fine. Um, that the Dolphins are meeting with Noah Fant this week. I think the first meeting is going to be on Monday. If things go well, there'll probably be a follow up meeting to see if we're on the same page. And then I assume a contract offer, physical, that kind of part afterwards, right? I'm not saying we freed up money to get Noah Fant. I'm not saying that. But it does feel like the tea leaves are saying that because I thought we should do it anyway just to free up more money. Noah Fant just happened to fall from the sky. I think it's a fit offensive wise. I think what he does down the field, pass catching, is there. He's not as dynamic as Johnu is. I think Johnu's faster, a little better at breaking tackles, but Noah's more than good. He would be the best tight end we have. He's a vet. I'm guessing it will be another 1 year deal, maybe two if he's really pushing it because he's in the right age range. And I don't think he is going to get a ton of money. This would be his third team, like third team in what 6 years, 6 7 years. That it's not damaged goods, but it's not that far from it. The big thing is that Noah Fant again does play a lot of games, averages 15 games a season. That's fantastic because we have a lot of injuries. But the fact that we're bringing him in is a big deal. Now we did do this with Asante Samuel and Rasul Douglas, and we got all excited thinking, "Hey, they're bringing him in. Rasul's back again. He spun the block and came back to see us, and guess what? He did not sign." So this is a little different situation. I don't think Noah Fant's asking price is going to be what Rasul's asking price was. So I think it's more about how fast do you think you could pick up the offense? What are you expecting? Because just because a person's a free agent doesn't mean they should just go to a random team. It may be about how many targets are you expecting per game? What do you see yourself in the offense? Are you willing to do something you may not have done before? Like maybe he lines up on the left side normally. And we're like, hey, we want to shift you this way. Can you do that? Hey, are you cool going in motion? Hey, are you cool, pull blocking where you run back across the line of scrimmage? Like, what are you willing to do? Now, somebody who wants a job is like, anywhere, coach, I'll do special teams. Realistically, it's like, hey, I don't like doing this. I really like doing this. I think I'm good here. This is where I think my skill set and what you want overlap. And if it doesn't match, doesn't match. I remember when we were doing the cornerback thing, there are a lot of people who said Asante Samuel Jr. was mostly a like zone corner. The Dolphins play a lot of man, so maybe the fit won't work. But he's such a talent that maybe he can learn to play man. But ideally, you want someone who more or less fits your scheme already. But they have to learn a brand new technique, a brand new mentality. Like if you're a 5'2" linebacker and now you're in a 4'3", you can still be great in both, but you kind of want to keep people in their strength zone. So I think that's mostly what the conversation is about. I assume that the numbers have already kind of been like you don't set the meeting if you don't think there's some wiggle room on the numbers, right? I'm hoping that we get this resolved this week. I think we're already in camp. I want him physical, paid, in pads by Wednesday, Thursday of this week. That's what I would want. He may not be available for the first preseason game, but hopefully he'll be available for the second, then of course the third, and then we're in the season already. That's kind of the ideal timeline. If this leads to he met with the Dolphins, and then I also have a meeting with the Steelers who just lost a tight end. They have John New, but who cares? Teams double up. It's Aaron Rodgers' last year, most likely. Oh, he's got another meeting with it. If all of a sudden he's got four more meetings, then it's probably the same formula. Somebody came in, Miami liked them, offered them a little bit less money than they wanted. They left thinking I can get that money from somewhere else, and here we are again. So I am hoping that the numbers are right. I think the player's right. I think the scheme can work. I mean, we never had a tight end like Johnu until he came here, right? We were thinking Mike Gesicki was like the best we can do, and then Johnu came and said, "No, no, no, there's a level above what y'all been doing." It was, oh, excuse me, I didn't know we had a tight end that can be a Pro Bowler. That's the a tight end that can catch a 7 yard pass and turn it into a 25 yard completion. Like, excuse me, that's not what Noah Fant is, but He's a threat down the field. Big guy, still young. We'll see what happens. In the midst of all this, Pro Football Focus has come out saying that Liam Eichenberg is who's someone they have on the not chopping block, but the trade list. A lot of offensive linemen get injured during this time. It's just something that happens. And based on their reporting, the Dolphins really aren't in love with Liam Eichenberg anyway. Also, he hasn't played well as of late. This is a scathing review from Pro Football Focus, but I'll read it off. Eichenberg, a former second round pick, has not been what Miami likely had hoped he would become. In 4 years with the Dolphins, he has never posted above a 53.1 Pro Football Focus overall grade, nor a Pro Football Focus pass blocking grade of even 50. Playing over 1,000 snaps at exclusively right guard last year didn't seem to offer Eichenberg much consistency either. Woof. That is a scathing report. And it's not personal. Pro Football Focus, again, I don't know how they do their metrics. They have their own internal mechanisms there. You can probably Google it. I haven't tried to do it. I just think they have their own thing and they like having their own numbers. This is Chris Collinsworth's company, so they do whatever they do. But the idea that, you know, closer to 100 is obviously better. 50 and below, not starting caliber. The fact that he's been in the 50s as an offensive lineman for a good team, that's basically backup, maybe like second, third level backup. Meaning, if we had three offensive linemen get injured, then that's when he would come in. The idea that he's your swing offensive lineman, your sixth guy, oof, it's not great. That pass blocking grade of 50 is abysmal. That's just not it's just not a good grade. Doesn't mean the Dolphins are going to cut him. This just is like their indication is he's not good enough to stay on the roster. The article goes on to say they drafted Jonah, they went and got James, they got Borom, they went out, like we went and made a bunch of other moves for people that can play his same position, including again using a second round pick and then paying him his full contract up front. That's every indication of we brought you back for a year in case we couldn't draft the guy that is going to be your replacement or heir apparent. Then we got that guy, and so far he's looked like what we thought he would look like. Why is Liam on the squad? That's kind of what their position is. I said from the jump, if we had to start the year with Liam, that is a problem. But I thought it was on the board because I don't know if James is going to be healthy when the year starts. But it seems like the Dolphins might just say we're cool with whoever the next man up is. Hey, if it's Larry, Larry get in there. Liam, take a seat. That's what it feels like is going on. I haven't heard anything about anyone like offering anything. I know one of our former offensive linemen got traded to Dallas, and then he just got injured. So there are offensive linemen that are getting hurt, and more will. And it may be a team that's like, hey, we need a little bit more depth on the offensive line. We have a quarterback that's not super mobile. Then maybe someone might even make us a little bit of a money offer and say, hey, we got a 6th round pick and we can get a pick back and get off the Liam thing. That's fire. But, you know, he also could just be on the team and just be a guy kind of waiting his time, maybe trying to get a moment to shine. I would be good either way. I definitely don't want him to be the starter for more than a game, uh, or as a fill-in kind of player. I don't think he's at the level he needs to be at. But he's talked about, hey, I want some redemption from last year. That wasn't the best showing of myself. So I also do like a good redemption story. So I'm a little conflicted, but Pro Football Focus taking a shot to the head. I mean, that was crazy. And we'll see. I don't know, they didn't source it. It was more like, this is what we think could possibly happen. Now, maybe they do have sources behind the scene that I don't know about, but this is the only like outlet that I saw talking about this story. So I'm gonna assume it's their own people. So we mentioned earlier that Kader got injured the same day that BJ Adams got injured, and that's a big deal because one, Kader is going to start at corner for us, probably at cornerback 1 or 2. Last year he was a slot corner, and we don't know who the other two corners are. Now I assume it's Jack Jones and Mike Hilton, unless they get beat out for the position. But Kader was supposed to be our most game ready, most confident guy coming back. Limped up the field twice. We didn't hear anything back from it. And they asked Coach Monet on the day about it, and this is what he had to say. He said, it's day to day evaluation with some swelling. So we're a couple evaluations away. The next couple of days, we're really just taking it day by day and seeing where it's at. Now, someone asked him, one of the reporters was like, "Well, do you think he could be out for the year?" They just jumped to like the biggest doomsday. And Coach McDaniel said that would be reckless speculation. Anyone who says anything about that doesn't have medical facts to back it up. But the idea that there's enough swelling that we don't know what's going on is not great. I do like the fact that they haven't just immediately said he's going to be on a pup list for the first 4 weeks. Like they haven't done that thing yet, but there's enough swelling that we don't know. Once swelling goes down, then you can X-ray it, see what's going on. Um, I think it's likely he may not be ready for the start of the year, but if it's something like, hey, he's gonna be out for a couple weeks, he just has to rest it, that's fine. I would like to see him on the field because he's playing a new position, but I also would prefer him to be healthy. I think we have enough guys that can play corner, like maybe James Marshall can step in. Who knows? But we have enough people that can play cornerback that even if they're not as good as Kader is, which I don't think anyone on the roster probably currently is, can they be serviceable enough? Can we add safety help to support them? Can we put that person in the slot? Try to limit their route combinations they have to deal with. There are a lot of ways to hide a player that isn't great, unfortunately. And if we have a rookie in there, who knows? They might just step on the field and emerge. Sometimes people in practice aren't great and they get on the field and they kind of show up. The bigger thing is make sure it's not a torn, ACL, make sure it's not a broken foot bone. If it's, slight fracture, which is technically a break, but if it's a slight fracture, it's going to heal, no surgery necessary, then let him heal. We'll be fine. Hopefully, it's just a tough sprain, maybe a grade two. Hopefully not a grade three. Even a grade three sprain, you're out for a couple months. That gets us into the year, but again, no surgery. If he can do that, then I think we're okay. We need him really for the later part of the season. Our first half of our games isn't as tough. We're just hoping that the out for the year thing is not a case because we already lost Artie Burns, and we've already brought in two experienced, like, a little bit older corners for 1 year deals. Kader is also on a 1 year deal, but he's hoping to earn a longer term deal. I don't want to see him get hurt. One for us because he's supposed to start, obviously. I don't want to see him get hurt for him because, again, if he balls out this year, he's in line to make a good bit of money. And if he gets hurt, misses the year, he's not going to get the money. He'll be on another 1 year deal next year. And, anything can happen from there. So happy for the update. Coach, said we're hoping for the best. He didn't give us any definitive information. He didn't seem to have any, but we'll keep it posted as we learn more. Back to the comments, I say from you guys. I've been getting a lot of Christian Wilkins talk today because the last time I brought Christian Wilkins up, I said, hey, it'd be a great guy to come to the team. The Raiders said he wasn't doing his rehab properly. That feels a little fishy. And of course, there's more to the story. There usually is. So even now, I don't think even this part of the story has been released is the full story. I think they're still holding punches. I think this is more like Christian, drop your suit. And if you don't drop the suit, we're going to drop more information. I think this is like a slow leak of we got the goods. How far do you want to go with this? So allegedly, and this has been reported that Christian Wilkins kissed a teammate on the forehead, and that made them feel uncomfortable. And that, in addition to his rehab, is why he's not coming back to the team. I don't know. I think that probably happened. I mean, this video of him kissing, I want to say it was Mac Jones post game, but or Drake May, like he's kind of he's an interesting guy. But Christian goes a little crazy. Let's just put it that way. I think there's probably a lot more. I think there's repeated offenses. There's probably some text messages, um, innuendo kind of stuff. I think Christian has kind of just been living his best life. So the question I've been getting for the most part is, all right, let's say all that is true. Would the Dolphins still take him back? And I would say, yeah, probably, because he knows the locker room already. I assume whatever level of antics that he has displayed with Vegas, he was also doing here. I don't think he was just some like person here. I think he was probably a wild boy here, but he had been here for years, and so we were more accustomed to who he is. Remember, he got signed by Vegas. He was only there for like 5 or 6 games, and he got hurt. Then he's just been out. So there's not a ton of, you know, gelling. I don't know these guys for real. And then when you're hurt, you're not really around the team. not like you should be, and you're not on the field, so you're definitely kind of disconnected. Even when you're on the team, when you're not playing, you're not really enmeshed like you should be. So he was just like a new kid on the block, probably acting really familiar, and that doesn't work. He would be familiar here. We know who he is. Coaching staff knows him. He knows the city. I think he would work here still. He still has a rehab, so that part of it. I don't want more injured guys on the team, but I think whatever antics and on the field, off the field, Christianness that he is, I think still will work on the team. I haven't heard the team come out and say we're not in the business of looking at him. I don't know what money he's looking for because he's trying to sue to get some of his own money back. So we'll kind of keep that on pause. But he might be in a situation where he's seen as being like off limits to a lot of people in the league because he's kind of suing his team, and this might get up to the Players Association, which is a whole thing. And it's like, hey, is the juice worth the squeeze? Who knows? Especially coming off injury, he's a bigger dude. I've said many times when you get injured, especially lower body, you tend to gain weight. He's already a big dude, and it's a foot, so bigger dude gaining weight on an injured foot seems like it's likely to re-injure itself, which is not great. So I don't know. I mean, I think he could work. It would have to be price wise. It would have to work. I certainly wouldn't mortgage the future to bring him back. But if you just want to work with us price wise and we have the money for it, then I think it could work. He would definitely have to do a press conference and explain himself and hopefully piece it up with whoever he needs to piece it up with. And hopefully we won't have to deal with any shenanigans outside of what he does on the field. But I think it's a possibility. Likelihood, I would say 25%. We'll see. But as always, guys, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. I appreciate the love and support. Thank you for the likes and subscribes. We'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.